Hi everybody, Caroline here, and I'm just recording a video today about buttons in WordPress on your website because Jose asked me how I added my buttons. Now I'm going to show you two different types of buttons. So this is on my home page, so this is carolinegrub.com, and this is my home page. I'm going to ignore this one for now but move down to these ones here. So can you see I've got these green buttons on my home page, which are in this case linking me off to my mini site, but I've also got a different sort of button as well. Now these buttons here are built using the standard WordPress editor, the default editor that you get with your WordPress site. If I go onto my About Me page, now this page I've been experimenting. It's actually built with Elementor, which is a plugin for editing your pages and sorting your layout and so on, and that's how I've got these icons. Now if I scroll to the bottom of my About Me page, which is far too long, I know, then see this different sort of button I've got here. So this is a blue button with square edges and a little icon in it as well. So I'm going to show you how I've created both of these different types of button depending on how you edit your website. So if I go back to my home page, now you'll notice that I'm already logged into the admin user of my site because I've got this black editing bar along the top here. So if I go to edit page, I'm going to edit my home page, then that will take me into the standard WordPress editor. So this is just done using standard WordPress. So we'll have a look at this button here. So this is a button I've already created. I'm going to create another one. So you can see as part of the page there's different what they call blocks. So a paragraph block, a heading block, and this is a button block. So I'm going to add another one. So I'm just going to hit add block. This little plus sign pops up between blocks, and you can see here I've got one called button. Now this is under my most used section because I use it quite regularly, but if I scroll down there's different types of blocks that you've got available to you in WordPress, and I think it's under layout elements is where you'll find button. So if I click that adds a new button for me, and you can see my button is black and it's on the left hand side. So first thing I'm going to do is change the colour to match the other ones on my site. So I'm going to go over to this right hand side, and this is where I can change some of the settings to do with my button. So I'm going to change it to the same green that I've got as that button up there, and the text colour I think I'm not going to change, but you can change the text colour if you wanted orange text or pink text or grey text so you can't even read it, or a custom colour. So I want a white one, so up in the top there is white text, so I'll go for that for now and make it as readable as possible. Now under the styles on the right hand side here you can actually change the style of the button. So for example if you wanted a square button rather than a round one, you can do that, or an outline button, but I'm not entirely sure what that does, so I'm just going to stick with the default for now, which is what I do on my site. Now next thing I'm going to do is going to put it in the middle. So at the moment you can see it's left aligned as a button. So along here we've got the alignment options, so I'm going to choose the middle one, and that's going to align it to the centre. That's going to put it in the centre of my page, which I like because that works well on mobile devices as well as on laptop screens, tablets and so on. So to put text in my button, I've just clicked on where it says add text, and I'm going to just type using my keyboard the text that I want to appear on the button, and that pops up there. So next thing is, where do we want people to go when they click on that button? Now in WordPress it's got all my pages already in there, so if I just type about, for example I want to link to my About Me page, then that pops up at the top of the list. So there's a list here of other pages on my site, so these are blog posts that I've written, but this is the page that I want to link to, so nice and easy. Just going to click About Me, and that's gone and put in the URL of my About Me page. So I'm just going to hit the little enter sign there to apply that, and job's done. Simple as that. So let's have a little look, see what that looks like. If I go up to the preview button to preview my page without saving the changes just yet, I'm going to scroll down, there we go, there's my button, tell me how, and my button. And if I click that button now, that is going to go to my About Me page, carolinegrub.com/about. Okay, so being as we're here, let's edit this page now, and we'll have a look at what's different about this page, because it's been written or been built using Elementor. So Elementor is a editing tool, a layout tool within WordPress. It's a plugin that I've added into my site, and I'm playing around with it. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided whether I prefer Elementor or just the standard WordPress. I find it more difficult to position images in Elementor, but there we go, I'm still learning. So you'll see now, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom where my button is, so I'm ready. Yes, this page is far too long. But now with Elementor, can you see I've got this pane on the left hand side now? This is the Elementor pane. And in a similar way to the standard WordPress, I've got what it calls sections. The standard WordPress calls them blocks, but each different bit, so each line, each bit of text, each icon is in a separate what we call section, as is my button here. So I'm going to add another section, a bit like we did before, and I'm going to choose from the elements over here, and you can see under basic, under the top one, so we've got basic, we've got general, we've got WordPress, we've got other ones, but under basic there's an option for button. So I'm going to just drag and drop that over there, and can you see it's added a new button for me, same as before on the left hand side, and this time it's a kind of a greyish coloured button. So I'll talk you through how we change that. Now on the left hand side here, this is where we've got all the options, and the first one is the type. So the default brings up a grey button. If I change it to an info button, can you see it's now the same blue as I've got on my button? If I change it to a success button, it goes green. A warning button is orange, like I said, traffic lights, and danger is red. Don't want that on my site. I don't want people to feel I'm being aggressive towards them, so I quite like the blue colour of that button, so I'm going to keep it blue for now. Now in order to change the text on the button, I can either type it in on the button there, or I can type it in the box here, and I'm going to pick take me home, for example, and that's going to take me to the home page. Obviously you can put whatever text you like on there. And next thing then is where it is going to take me. So to go to my home page, now I don't think it's got no, it's got a hash that's normally to link with it somewhere else on the page that you're currently on. So I've taken the hash out, and now it's reminded me to put a URL in there. So I'm actually just going to copy my homepage URL, which is my website, https://carolinegrub.com. So that's where the button's going to take me. Now to move it into the middle, like the other one, we've got the alignment options here. So I've got left, centre or right, so I'm just going to hit the centre button, and that puts me nice in the middle again, which is what I like. Then we've got the choice of size, so you can make it tiny, 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 all the way up to extra large buttons, and depending on what you want on your site. I'm going to keep mine to, I think it's small. Yeah, small's fine for me. And then can you see on my button here, I've got this arrow icon. So you can add all sorts of icons, and that's what I do like about Elementor, is you've got this icon library. So if I click on that, you can see here we've got all sorts of different icons. So here are my arrows, so I could put the arrow on there, same as before, and that looks like that. Or I quite like, say if I was doing a link to a home page, have a look for a little home icon. There we go, a little house. So let's insert that, and can you see I've now got a little house symbol there. Now I can choose whether I put the house before or after the text. Take me home to my little house, and we can change the spacing. So using this little slider here, moving to the left or the right, I can change how far the house is from the text. So I think somewhere around about there is probably fine. And lastly, it needs an ID for the button, just in case you want to use that button as a link elsewhere on the page to jump people up and down in the page. So I'm just going to call it About Me Home, because About Me is the page I'm on and Home is where I'm going. There's no convention for that, that's just a convention that I came up with myself, so that each button would be uniquely identified. And that's it, folks. So what I would do then is update, and that would show me, that would save those changes to adding my button on my page. So there we go. I hope that's been useful for you and given you some tips. And if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. All right, have a wonderful day.